Welcome on into the Wolverine.com podcast. Clayton Sayfie here with Anthony Broome and Chris Balas on a Thursday show. We will get to Michigan football, Michigan basketball. We're going to start out with our question that we didn't get to on Monday from our esteemed message board poster, Bloomer, over at the Wolverine.com. And if you want to become an esteemed message board poster, you can use the promo code UM1 over at thewolverine.com. It gets you 2 months of premium access for just $1. So a couple quarters a month, pretty good deal. I think we dubbed it the best deal in America last week. So we will stick with that. It's the best deal I've seen in America. I haven't been everywhere. I haven't seen every deal, but it's the best I've seen. So check us out over at thewolverine.com. Please like the video if you want Michigan to win a second straight national championship, and subscribe to our channel. But before we get into our question from Bloomer, check in with the fellas. How we doing?
Doing good. Ready to hit the summer, man. We got this football preview to put to bed, and then already underway. So people get ready to order that. Man, it should be a good one. It's going to be an interesting year, fellas, for this football team, and hopefully they find their quarterback. That's going to be the one thing that makes or breaks this team, in my opinion.
Yeah, it seems like really just yesterday that we were sitting down to hammer out this commemorative edition of the magazine for the national title. And now we've had the football preview outline. Now it's, what we're terming week 0 in terms of getting our ducks in a row and starting to get copying and things like that. So just goes to show you, man, I mean, how much time flies, when you're having fun first and foremost, but it's been just rapid fire here the last several months. National title, you have coaching changes in football and basketball. We talked to Dusty May and his staff this week, which was great. I know we'll get to that a little later on, but man, it's just, this year is flying by. And, as we sit here today, we're slowly inching towards mid-May, and it'll be camp season. It'll be all these things that lead into the summer. And then before we know it, the three of us will be driving down to Indy again, our second home, it feels like, for Big Ten Media Days.
Yeah, just wait till you reach 39, fellas like me. Then it really sinks in.
That's fair.
Yes.
That's fair. Both guys mentioned the magazine. Head to the WolverineOnDemand.com right now, or visit the link in the description to the video, to the podcast, to pick up your copy of the commemorative issue of our magazine commemorating the national championship season, as well as shortly be able to pre-order the Michigan football preview magazine as well, which I believe will have Will Johnson on the cover. It's going to be awesome. So make sure to grab your copy of the commemorative issue, as well as keep it locked here. Did
you just break news? Did you just break news about our cover athlete?
It's not official. I think they're working on it though. So we will see. I'm sure the Johnson family will be happy about that. But Chris, you mentioned quarterbacks. Let's talk about some quarterbacks and get to our question from Bloomer, which was to give ratings to the different traits here, as if we were in charge of the EA Sports college football video game. And we'll focus on 3 quarterbacks. We'll just do Jack Tuttle, Alex Orji, and Davis Warren, kind of the 3 guys near the top of the depth chart, Jaden Denegal and Jaden Davis being the other 2 scholarship guys on the roster. Maybe we'll do that at another time, and once we see more a sample size of them. But the traits we have here are throw power, accuracy, speed, juke, ball carrier, and kick return. I think that's a little nod to Alex Orji, who could be one of the best kick returners of all time, according to Jim Harbaugh. Don't know that we're going to see that this year, especially since we didn't see it last year, and now this year he's competing to be the starting quarterback at Michigan. But I guess we can start with the trait, and then we can give our rating, 0 through 100 for each guy. So we'll start with throw power. I can rattle mine off here. I got Jack Tuttle at 81, Alex Orji at 90, and Davis Warren at 80.
Wow. First of all, I don't play video games anymore. I'm a man. I'm 40. So I don't have a clue.
Wait, I thought you were 39.
Yeah, well, almost 40. Yeah, I'm on the other side of 39. So I think Davis Warren actually probably has a better arm than Jack Tuttle from what I've heard. So does Orji have that great an arm? I don't know. It's hard to know. How many times have we really seen him throw downfield? So does he have a stronger arm? I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. So I'll go 88, 87, 80, 82, whatever. Orgy, Warren, and what's his name?
Tuttle. Yep.
Tuttle.
And what's his name?
Yeah.
That'll show up on the depth on our projected.
Right. Yeah. Let's hope not.
I'd like to think I'm an adult, but when this game comes out this summer, I will be playing it, and we will have content that is written around it. So I am excited for that. Alex Orgy, I'd probably say throw power somewhere in the low 90s, like 91, 92. The problem is that when it comes around to accuracy, we don't know where the hell the ball's going to go. So I won't spoil that category of it, but I'll say I'll throw 92 on him. Probably like an 82, 83 on Jack Tuttle, and then I'll go slightly better than that for Davis Warren. I think they're kind of in that same bucket, so 84 or so.
Is Joe Milton like 100 or 99 or what?
I mean, he would have to be, right? Like has anyone thrown a ball farther and harder at football than
just Ryan Mallett, rest in peace.
Yeah, Ryan Mallett would probably be a 99 too. Yeah.
Wasn't you can correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Joe Milton and J.J. McCarthy have the hardest thrown balls at the NFL Combine when they had the radar gun out?
They might
recall that, Clay. So
I don't.
That up, but.
No, that'd be a good one to know. I don't specifically recall that. I do remember Joe Milton waiting back there forever for his receiver to get way downfield so he could throw it, and the crowd loved it at the Combine. I don't know that that's going to translate to the NFL, but not to get on a Joe Milton tangent, but I think he would be a 99 in power. Throw accuracy.
Hold on. I got to go back to what our guy Brad Beetham said when he said he saw Davis Warren standing next to J.J. McCarthy, and they were doing their long ball thing, and he said Davis Warren outthrew him by 10 yards. So I think that speaks to Davis Warren's arm strength. I think a lot of people are sleeping on that. So anyway, do I think he's going to be the starting quarterback? No. Do I think he's kind of in the mix? I kind of do, especially with what he did in the spring, but let's see how it plays out. So let's go to accuracy here, and we'll start with Alex Orgy's 70, 69?
Yeah, I put accuracy for him at 76. I put accuracy for Tuttle at 82 and Davis Warren at 84. But yeah, what do you guys have?
Yeah, I'll go 71 for Alex. I'll go 80, maybe 81, 82 with Tuttle and Warren. So yeah, I think Warren's got he's the best at throwing into layers. So again, though, right, it's about confidence. There are a lot of things that go into play in the quarterback position, but so we'll see. Yeah, but we just know that Orgy's lower on that list. And Jaden Denegal, do we have to include? We kind of have to include him in there. I mean, it was Kirk Campbell who said that he was really one of the most improved players in the spring in the last 11 practices. Now he had a terrible spring game, obviously. So, I guess I would put his arm strength, what about 86 or 87 maybe? And
sure.
Something like that. So accuracy, based on what we've seen, the limited stuff we've seen, probably about a 72.
Yeah, I think I'd probably have Orgy somewhere in the mid 70s there, probably 75, 76. Davis Warren, I think probably, again, from just based on what we've seen in the spring game, I think capable of simply running the plays that are called. And that means a lot of checkdowns, a lot of, mid area throws. Probably put him somewhere like 84, 85 as well. And Jack Tuttle, I'd probably in a similar range, maybe a little more given that he's played a little more football. But yeah, 84, 85 for both of them accuracy wise, but not quite where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Speed. This is one where Alex Orgy maybe didn't have the edge on, in accuracy, but speed, I think, is his forte. I don't want to overrate him in speed because, we got to talk about the fastest guy right in the country. Probably last year would have been Xavier Worthy, right? He'd be a 99, but I went with 93. Now that I see it written down, I probably think it's more 92-ish. But I got Jack Tuttle at 70, Davis Warren at 68. Maybe I'm shortchanging Jack Tuttle a little bit. We don't have acceleration on here, but he looks decently fast when he gets going. But so maybe 70 is a little bit low. But that's I guess kind of what I got written down here. So
yeah, I've got Orgy at 90, and I've got Tuttle at probably about 78. I think he's a little bit more mobile than you're giving him credit for. Davis Warren, 75. Jaden Denegal, kind of a statue is what they say. So I'll go 73 for him.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little lower on Alex Orji, maybe like an 86, 87, just because I think a lot of what stands out about his speed and athleticism is the fact that it is coming from the quarterback position, and he is a little more of a bruiser in that regard. So I'll say like 87 for him. Tuttle probably 78, 79, Warren 75, 76, and then Jaden Denegal like -4.
I'll give Jane Denegal a 68.
That's probably more fair.
Forgot to include him. Juking ability, I got Jack Tuttle, 67. First of all, Jack Tuttle juke the kicker's net on the opposite sideline when you run out of bounds next time, because that was tough to see. But Alex Orji, I got juke at 80. Davis Warren at 66. I feel like Alex Orji could be higher than that, but to me it feels like he's more of a burst and go, type of guy, as opposed to maybe having that wiggle, but he's got the power. If we included that, I think definitely, as powerful as some running backs out there.
Orji, 87, Tuttle, 79, Davis Warren, 75, Jaden Denegal, -5.
Juke, yeah. I'll go 82 for Alex Orji, probably like 74, 75 for Jack Tuttle, like 71, 72 for Davis Ward and Jaden Denegal. I'll just stick with, he's the number 4. I'll just stick with 4.
That's fair. He's getting trashed here, but nothing
right.
personal, Jaden. And then ball carrier, I think ball carrier is pretty similar to, kind of speed and juke, so maybe we'll skip that one. Kick return. Alex Orji, I got him as an 84. Jack Tuttle, 51. Davis Warren, 38. I think he's a little more fragile than the other guys.
Yeah, I'll go 100+ for the best kick returner in the history of the game.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. 50 for the other guys back there, if that. 40. Yeah, these are not guys that you want back there returning kicks.
Yeah, I'll go like 78 for Alex Orji, and then incomplete for the other guys, because it's just not something we're ever going to see. So I guess in the game I would set it to 0 if that's what I was grading it on. So not going to see that happen, but a fun hypothetical.
Yeah, my favorite thing about Jim Harbaugh, which probably informed, not my favorite thing, but one of my favorite stories of Jim Harbaugh, and potentially informed his opening willingness to allow Alex Orji to potentially return kicks, is that he ran down on kicks. He was on the kick coverage team as a rookie for the Chicago Bears, which is, it's the most Jim Harbaugh story ever. He's a first-round quarterback, but wasn't the starter. Okay, how do you get him on the field? He wants to play. He does that. So, yeah, those are our rating. It's less about the video game. It's more about, talking about the individual traits of these guys. And I think the one takeaway I would have from this exercise, which I appreciate Bloomer bringing to our attention and coming up with it, is that there's just not that guy right now that you trust in every area, right? Everyone has a trait that you like about them, but I think that's the scary part of looking at this quarterback situation, right? It's kind of you have some pieces there. Maybe if you could combine these guys into one quarterback, you'd be looking at a really good one, but obviously you can't do that. So shall we move on to a transfer portal target?
Absolutely.
Let's do that.
So Grand Valley State defensive tackle Jay'Viar Suggs is closing in on his decision. He told On3's Pete Nakos this week that he is hoping to make a decision this week. It's Thursday afternoon right now. I did see that LSU got in the mix following, really his top 6 that he released the other day, which didn't include LSU. But USC, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Florida State, Kentucky, and Michigan are the final 6. He had 7.5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks last year, 7 tackles for loss, 3 sacks in 2022. When you and Pete Nakos talked about this the other day on Andy Staples' show, defensive tackles being overvalued right now in the transfer portal because there's way more demand than there is a supply of quality ones. That's why guys in the Division II ranks like Jay'Viar Suggs are getting offers from these big-time schools. Lou Esposito has been able to develop some under-the-radar guys, Braden Fisk, and who ended up going to Florida State from Western Michigan, getting drafted in the NFL this year. So maybe he'd be able to make something out of him, but I think it's pretty clear they want some depth there.
Yeah, and thankfully LSU is no longer paying for players,
True.
according to Brian Kelly, so we don't have to worry about that anymore being an issue here. So you know what? It's his depth at Michigan, and that's what's going to be interesting to see. Right? They lost the Kent State kid going to Indiana, and is it enough for these guys now, knowing that Michigan's probably not a national championship caliber team? Last year you had guys that were coming and playing at a discount, frankly. We'd heard the budget on that team was $4 million. So guys like Ladarius Henderson coming in and Drake Nugent wanting to be part of a championship. Do these guys want to be part of a winning team and playing on the biggest stage and backing up guys like Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant? I don't know. That's going to be interesting. But his other 5 are what, Clay?
His other 5 are, and he visited all these schools: USC, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Florida State, and Kentucky.
Okay. And Michigan State didn't even visit Michigan State?
He canceled his Michigan State visit, I think, once he picked up some more offers,
So
which I don't blame him objectively.
No. He's a smart kid then. Yeah, he seems like he'd be a great fit. So we'll see. I'm not overly optimistic here just because of what I said, but the other one's on his list too. I'm guessing maybe in Arkansas, he maybe he'd have a better chance to play somewhere like that, but we'll just see how it pans out. But I think there'll be some surprises, fellas, and maybe a couple names out there. Everybody just assumes now or thinks that because the portal's closed, you can't sign anybody. There's still a lot of guys in that portal that have not signed yet.
Yeah, something that struck me too. I wrote about Suggs and the defensive tackles the other day. They had 3 defensive tackles last season in Chris Jenkins, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, who all played at least 400 snaps. Now, mind you, there's a little bit of an asterisk next to that in that they didn't play a competitive game through the first 8 or 9 weeks of the year. But, when you lose Jenkins, there's a lot of snaps to be had in this defensive tackle rotation. And, obviously probably a little bit light there in the spring, given that Rayshon Benny is still on his way back from an ankle injury. They've been toying with Eno Etta inside, but I think he's more of a tweener, maybe a sub-package rush defensive tackle and an edge guy by trade more so. There's an opportunity for playing time there. So to me, I think that it's certainly a need. I don't know that, haven't really heard a lot about guys like Trey Pierce being quite there yet. They do need a body there. So, and again, the misconception, like Chris was saying, is that just because the portal is closed, that they're done adding. They're not done adding. It's just who's in the portal right now is who is available. Like you just had to have that paperwork submitted. So we'll see them kind of continue to expand the board if they missed on a guy like Suggs. But I think at the defensive tackle position, for as much talk as there is about those 2 first-round caliber guys, I don't think they're quite as deep there as we thought they might be. So certainly fits the billing of a guy that is going to, would play a lot, I think, if he wound up at Michigan. So we'll see what happens.
You're kind of searching for that 4th and 5th guy. You have Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, Rayshon Benny. Is Trey Pierce the 4th? He was hurt this spring as well, which probably would have been a good opportunity for him to kind of make a move and continue to develop. And you're kind of looking for your Cam Good of last year, right? And, he made an impact. He was on the field for some really big plays, and almost surprisingly so. I almost thought they rotated too much in even the big moments last year, but clearly you can't argue with 15-0. But I was thinking during the Maryland game, like, wait, why are all these big snaps? Why is Cam Good? And then he goes and gets a pressure that led to intentional grounding that was a safety. So then I just shut up the rest of the season because I'm an idiot and don't know as much as Mike Elston. So, but they're looking for those guys to rotate. Lou Esposito was pretty clear about that in the spring, talking about how he didn't want to play Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham every snap, even though he joked that he would like to do that ideally, if they could handle it. But it's good to keep these guys fresh. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see if he actually does make a decision this week. But let's move on to Terése Whitehead, who is the new executive GM of Michigan and their partnership with Altius Sports Partners for NIL. This is part of that partnership that they announced a couple months ago, but Altius, basically a consultation firm that comes in, works within the athletic department, helps them with NIL. Terése Whitehead is a Michigan alum, was previously the NFLPA Vice President of Consumer Products and Strategy. And according to the press release, she will provide dedicated and specialized expertise for UM student athletes, coaches, administrators, and collectives, including strategic guidance, educational programming, and will support with partnerships and activations. With support from ASP's team of industry thought leaders, she will enhance Michigan's NIL program while serving as the day-to-day point of contact for internal and external stakeholders, including Michigan sports properties and Champion Circle. And as a specialized advisor for athletes as well, she'll educate, design initiatives, raise awareness in the business community, collaborate with the athletics department on various programs and resources to support Wolverine athletes in maximizing NIL opportunities and enhancing their overall experience. It's worded great, and we'll throw it on to you guys. My question is she going to fix what the perceived issue is, which is they have to aggressively recruit donors to donate? It's not about marketing. It's not about all this. Is she going to do that? I would hope that would be, basically the solution. She comes in and understands what is maybe holding Michigan back right now. It's probably not marketing and branding. It's probably, getting more money in the collectives and making sure they have enough there.
And we know Sean McGee's working on that on the Michigan football side as well. I've heard great things about her. I will say this right now. I've got contacts in Major League Baseball who know people that she worked with in the NFL. And I believe it was the NFL. She was Players Association. Is that correct? So,
yes. Yep.
And said that she was fantastic. So gathering more information on that, getting ready to put an article together on her, but have heard great things. First, early impressions are this is a really good hire. So here's hoping, maybe it's more that she is finding real, legit NIL opportunities for these athletes, and which is great. But again, when you're recruiting and you're not willing to pay for play for preps, that's what we've seen is pretty much holding Michigan back, as our EJ Holland would say 10 times over, from really competing on the recruiting trail anymore. So you have to have the players here to pay and to get these opportunities. So that, to me, we'll see how much she gets involved in that. We'll see if Michigan changes their strategy to land some of these elite recruits, because you still need them, fellas, to compete in this climate now more than ever.
Yeah, the thing with these press releases is that it's a lot of corporate, jargon, and it's just stockpiled with a lot of filler words. Basically, what it seems like Terése Whitehead is coming in to do is, we talk about the branding opportunity. You see a Tyson Chicken get involved with Arkansas. You see FedEx get involved with Memphis Athletics. Like a hire like this, I think, is where, and that's not to say that, the people that own Meyer are going to send $30 million to Michigan Athletics. Like that would be a little overzealous to think that might be the case. But knowing what her background is in the NFLPA, which is, basically helping these individuals, being a liaison between individuals and brands for partnerships. And, I think for Michigan, the deals with the car dealerships and the local restaurants, that's all fine and good. But I think when you make a hire like this, like the vision is that maybe you have a Michigan athlete in a State Farm commercial or I think it opens the doors for a lot more. Now, does it solve what the main issue is in having the money in the coffers? I don't know that it solves directly, hey, we need X amount from these donors. But I think what it does do is, one, this is the person that Michigan will earmark and Altius earmarks as this is who's in charge of NIL. This is kind of, I don't want to say passing the buck off of Ward Manuel, but, this is someone you empower to get that program sorted out and have a vision and work with the collectives and help them be as successful as they can, because we know they're working incredibly hard. It's just that the direction from the athletic department, the vision just hasn't been there. And now that you have someone in that big chair, hopefully it opens up these guys, women, whoever it is in the athletic department, these marketable athletes, to explore as many avenues they can to profit off of their name, image, and likeness. So that's the hope. I mean, you sift through the press release and you kind of like, okay, what is she actually here to do? But I think that's the long and the short of it, is that it kicks the door open and it's a point of contact in the athletic department that has a vision, that has the foresight, and that has experience in exploring these types of marketing opportunities for athletes.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to sound dismissive, but to me it feels like again, I'm waiting to see exactly what kind of impact she has on the pay for play side. Like, just to be completely frank, like I think creating NIL opportunities for these guys is great. And I think it's pretty important probably for some cash for a lot of the other sports. But when it comes to football and basketball, and when it comes to, acquiring talent, I think that it's pay for play is more important. It doesn't mean I like that that's the case, because I don't, but it just feels like to me, Michigan has done a pretty decent job. You see these people, a lot of these athletes signing deals and, making Instagram posts, and it's not like you shouldn't provide support on that end of it either. Because I think you should. And I think Michigan has done that and will continue to, but I think it's the other side of it. And it says she'll work with Champion Circle. So we'll see if that impact, it definitely can't hurt. So it's nothing against Terése at all, with maybe my tone earlier, but yeah, we'll see. And here's hoping, as you said, CB, that it does make the impact that we all think that Michigan needs in this space. But let's move on to Michigan basketball. We had Dusty May for 30 minutes at a press conference earlier this week on Tuesday afternoon. Also got to meet with most of the assistant coaching staff. Mike Boynton Jr. was out of town, but Drew Williamson, Kyle Church, Justin Joyner, and of course I'm forgetting one as we who am I forgetting?
Akeem Miskadeen.
Akeem Miskadeen as well. Got to talk to all of them, learn a lot about the roster they put together, the staff that they have, the vision for what they think they can do this year, which is win. We got some clarity on the Danny Wolf, Vlad Golden plan, which is basically to play them together significant minutes, Dusty May said, and probably about 14 minutes of Danny Wolf at the 5 by himself when Vlad Golden is off the floor. As Dusty said, he averaged about 25 minutes a game last year. So maybe if he's at that 25, 26 mark, then Danny Wolf is the rest of it. So that was one of the things we received clarity on. But your guys' takeaways from what we got to do on Tuesday.
Yeah, similar to when I sat down with him on Thursday. This guy's so impressive, right? Everything he says and every one of his detailed answers about how he's going to use guys and why he recruited a guy because he's good in the pick and roll to go with his big man who's good in the pick and roll. We don't want shooters, guys that aren't shooters. We took a chance on Roddy Gale because I know he's a better shooter than 28% because he shot 40% a year earlier. Just his organization, his work ethic is a huge step up, with all due respect to the previous head coach. I mean, it's very clear to me that, when you go 8 for 8 guys on official visits here and your NIL still isn't where it needs to be. And he said that some of these guys are still going to be sacrificing. And I remember, I think it was in The Athletic that Juwan Howard said, he's going to need it. Good luck to him. He's going to need it. Well, he made his own luck. He went out and he told us when we asked him about meeting with the collectives, he said, we talk to them every day. I talk to donors every day. He said, yes, yes, yes. I told him I was going to do that, and I'm doing that. So he checks every box, and I have never been more confident in predicting success for a coach other than John Beilein and Jim Harbaugh, and I've said that many times. And every time I hear this guy speak, the more confident I get. So there will be some bumps in the road. There were bumps in the road for John Beilein. There were bumps in the road for Jim Harbaugh. But there's no question in my mind that this guy is going to win here and win significantly. I don't know if that means national championship. I know that's his goal, but he took Florida Atlantic to a Final Four. That was not a fluke, right? And somebody put up a list of mid-major coaches who had gotten to Final Fours and made deep runs, and almost all of them went on to pretty good success. Dusty May is going to be the next one in line there.
Yeah, to piggyback on what you said about in terms of the gravitas, the organization, comparing him to Jim Harbaugh or John Beilein. I wrote about that earlier today, and that's over on the website right now. Like, there's a gravitational pull about him where good players want to be coached by him. Good coaches want to work with him. And in all the guys that we've talked to so far, like it's a combination of obviously the Kyle Churches and the Drew Williamsons. They've worked with him before. They know what he's all about. And they wanted to take that next step with him as he goes to a program that has expectations and resources that they didn't have available to them. Then you have a guy like Justin Joyner, who wasn't, not as familiar with him, hadn't worked with him before, but it's one of those it's like a game recognizes game type of thing. Like, given that he just came from a mid-major school at St. Mary's, like, he knows how hard it is, and he knew how hard the climb is for a program like that to do what they did. So the gravitational pull of Dusty May is something I'm really impressed with. And again, you could ask him, it's not just, I think the concern for a lot of people when we went into this offseason knowing that this roster was going to be completely flipped over is that, the NIL is not great. The admissions is always an issue. They're just going to have to throw something together and see what year one could look like. And, the process is extremely organized. And his predecessor can say he needs good luck. He's going to need all the good luck he can possibly muster. Is my co-host over here climbs up onto the couch. He's going to need all of the luck he can muster. Well, guess what? Fortune favors the bold and the well-prepared. And he has a plan. You ask him any guy on this roster, he could tell you why he appealed to them, or why he was appealed about their skill set. He could tell you how they'll fit. He could tell you what his vision for them is. Just the organization and conviction, I think, is what I continue to be impressed by.
Yeah, and it was kind of refreshing to listen to a head coach who answers questions. Like Juwan Howard really didn't want to talk to the media. He seemed like he was in a bad mood a lot of the time that he was going to talk to the media, but then he wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't even really talk about individual players that much. He didn't want to be critical at all. And then these guys are talking, I'm asking Drew Williamson about, hey, can Danny Wolf guard, guys on the perimeter? He said, well, that's something we're going to have to work with them on. And, they're just honest, and there's no reason not to be completely honest with you. And then I see Michigan basketball, he has his press conference. And then yesterday they sent out an email. Hey, maybe I'm on some email list, but hey, get your season tickets, right? And they're drumming up a lot of excitement with the fan base. So there are benefits, in my opinion, to, not to be a media person who's always complaining about how the access or whatever. But I thought that was fantastic. I think they've done a great job energizing the fan base and getting everybody, excited about what Michigan basketball is going to be in a very short period of time. As Dusty said when he sat down, he said, yeah, 5 weeks on the job, we feel like we've built a pretty competitive roster. And then you start thinking about it. You're like, yeah, it has been 5 weeks, and they've done an incredible job in the early going. So, yeah, we've had a bunch of stories from that up over at thewolverine.com. So you can check those out. But anything else from the press conference that stood out to you guys?
No, I'm just really excited. I'm excited again for Michigan basketball.
Yeah.
And I was, you were worried that, okay, if Dusty May doesn't want this job, and let's be clear, he really wanted this job, right? He had other opportunities. He made it clear that he thought this was the best fit for him. So, give credit to the guys who landed him, but basically, they were kind of recruiting each other, and Dusty May was as good a hire as they could have made. I was thinking this was going to be, they could be in the wilderness for 5 years, right? You never know. Rebuilding a program. They got a guy that not only is not going to be in the wilderness, but he's going to be competitive in the Big Ten this year, like he promised. Man, this guy is just really super impressive.
Don't sleep on Roddy Gale. I think that's a guy that they think could be an NBA lottery pick as soon as next offseason. I think that if he finds his shot again, he's probably the lead dog on this team, so to speak, at least in terms of late game situations. So I was really struck by how much I think Dusty kind of had a glow about him when talking about him.
Can I follow up? Did you get a quote on the lottery pick thing, or was that a vibe thing? Because
that's more of a vibe thing.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, he feels like, to me, they're alpha on offense. We'll see how it develops. Those guys are arriving around June 10th for the first workout. So we will be covering that over at thewolverine.com. Use our promo code UM1 for 2 months of premium access for just $1. Head to thewolverineondemand.com. You can order our national championship magazine, as well as here in just a few weeks, be able to start pre-ordering our 2024 Michigan football preview magazine. But like the video, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Appreciate you watching and listening, and we'll see everyone next time.